Where am I? I'm looking for in-depth intro. Hey everybody, welcome to Ears Up In Depth. I have my co-host here, Jeremy, and there's no place I'd rather be, Jeremy, than with you in front of me.
No place we'd rather be than in these remote studios.
That's far away from each other.
Yeah, 3,000 miles away. Also, studio is a loose term.
That's true.
This is also just my bedroom.
Well, hey, man, you live where you play, and that's really what I've always said about you.
Yeah, and this is where I work from home all day long. This is literally the same.
Yeah.
I just am in this chair for like 19 hours a day, especially when we record.
Are you doing like calisthenics to keep limber and keep the blood flowing? Do you get up and walk around and swing the arms and do this whole kind of a thing, or?
Yeah, I get up every few minutes or whatever, go in the kitchen or whatever, and I do try to go for at least. I try to get out for a run, 20, even if it's just 20 minutes, just to get the cobwebs out every day. Which did not, but it didn't happen today. So
no.
I'm already failing. I'm not getting a sticker.
No, you're definitely not getting a sticker. We have a good show for you guys today, but before we get into it, I was telling you, Jeremy, before the beginning of the show, number one, about how we're potty training Alice, but that sort of somehow in a weird roundabout way reminded me of I have a fish tank problem. So I started a fish tank in this quarantine life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got platies. They're these, called 2-inch fish. They sort of have a bunch of spots everywhere, and they're really pretty fish, and they're calm, and you have to keep a group of them. And so I have a tank that has real plants in it. It's a planted tank, and I'm working with Kyle, our former Imagineer friend Kyle, because he has a big planted tank, and he was kind of telling me all the ins and outs of what to do and what not to do. But the way Kyle disseminates information, it's like a drip system. So he feeds it to you very slowly, and then usually only after you needed it. He'll clarify. So
what a torturer.
Yeah, kind of. So he's telling me about these fish, and I'm like, okay, I got these platies or whatever. And he goes, oh. And so after they come, I send a picture. I go, yeah, this looks really cool, man. Thanks for all your help. He's like, well, are they males or females? And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, you don't know? I'm like, well, no. He's like, well, here's how to tell. So he sent me a picture, and they have like a dorsal. It's actually called an anal fin. I don't want to get too graphic, but that's what it's called. And if it's long and pointed, it's a male. And if it's like fat and, fan-like, it's a female. Okay. So I look, and I'm like sexing my fish, and I'm like, well, I have 2 males. And
as long as you're not sexting.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I try, but they won't give me their numbers.
They're not writing back.
And he's like, oh, well, you need more females, or you need more males. There's a 3-to-1 female to male ratio in order to keep the tank calm so they don't nip at each other. And I'm like, where were you 2 weeks ago when I was ordering fish? Like, I don't understand, but that's fine. So
did you call him up and say, hey, today's fish ordering day. Any advice? Wow.
No, I did not.
Oh,
but
okay.
During the course of our conversation, I expected that information to kind of flow freely.
Right.
So I order 4 females. I make a note in the thing. I'm like, hey, please, I already have, I need more females.
Yeah.
So the females come. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Everyone's getting along or whatever. What's this little tiny move? Some of the females that I ordered from the first time came pregnant.
Oh, my word.
They showed up pregnant. So one of them gave birth. So I have a 29-gallon tank, and I can only really hold 10 fish in it before it gets kind of overcrowded. Well, These 10 fish have now I'm convinced all of them came pregnant, because now there are 10 baby fish in my fish tank all swimming around, and they're called fry. And so now I have like 20 fish in my fish tank that's built for 10 fish, and I'm convinced at least 1, if not 2, are pregnant still, and a third is she's being chased by these males. And I'm like going out of my mind right now. So now this thing that I thought was going to be peaceful and serene and like really cool to come into the tiki room and look at it and kind of hang out it's now giving me so much stress because of like the added bio load, and like now my numbers are through the roof, and I have to do water changes every week. Now I don't want to do it, all because of Kyle.
Well, so first of all, just get the net, scoop a few out, and put them in the toilet. This is easily solved.
I can't do that. I would feel extraordinary because I would feel just extraordinarily bad. Instead, I've guilted Terrence's parents into starting a fish tank, and I'm going to give them some.
So they'll be the ones putting them in the toilet in 6 months. Got it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so, but I didn't know that a fish got pregnant. I thought a fish laid eggs. Like, are you watching this? Are you watching a birth happen? I don't know that those are actually fish.
There are fish that give live birth. They're called live bearers.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so there's not a whole lot of them, but platies are one of them, yeah. So normally they would lay eggs, and then some other fish would come and eat the eggs or whatever.
Yes.
Not in this case.
Okay, well, I've learned a lot tonight already.
Okay, good.
About platies. What does a platy look like? I mean, it's a weird name.
Look it up. Platy. They're very, yeah, they're sort of, they look like a sort of a goldfish, but they're sleek. And, you know, like the ones I have are white with like black polka dots, or black, black spots, or orange with black spots. Some sort of color with black spots on it.
Well, why? So if you don't like all this work, I think you should just get a computer with like a screensaver and just put it in there, and it have that be, just remember After Dark in the 90s, that screensaver, just like fish going on the screen. You'll be fine. You don't have to change the water.
Well, I liked the idea of a low tech planted tank with some shrimp. I have some shrimp in there. I have 3 shrimp. I'm getting 10 more and a snail. Like, I want to do this whole like thing, but
it's going to be an ecosystem.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now it's too much. Now it's too much for me, and I'm panicking.
You should.
I'm stressed out from it. I have stress from it.
I don't know. That stresses you? Just do it.
I can't, man. They're so cute. They're just little tiny.
Well, I mean, eventually you've got an exit path for them. I think that's great. Why don't you put a webcam up in front of the tank, and people could just tune in and watch your tank from whenever they feel like it?
I could do that. Just on an Ears Up YouTube channel from like 2 to 4 in the morning.
No, 24/7.
Yeah, that'd
Fish
be fun.
TV.
You know what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start gaming on our Twitch channel.
Oh.
Ears Up has a Twitch channel, and I'm going to start playing video games. I think I'm going to try to start tomorrow with the new Marvel Avengers game that my nephew Anthony works on. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give that a shot. You don't seem too thrilled by the prospect of more me on the internet.
You think I just want to tune in to watch you play a game?
It's
like, I can't imagine anything more boring.
It's big.
I'd rather watch your fish give birth.
Me too. It's a big thing. So I thought it'd be anyway. So I don't know what time. So check our social, I guess, maybe our Instagram story. I'll drop a time in there. Well, I'll have Maddie do it, and then I'll just be working on this game for like an hour, and we'll see what happens. If you want to join me on our Twitch stream, I think it's twitch.com/earsup. I don't really know.
Is it dual screen? Like, are you on one side so we see your reaction to what's happening, and then the screen's on the other so I can see what you're doing?
It's in the corner. No. You're not. It's not just me like this, just going, oh man, I almost got that guy. Trust me, guys, that was really cool. It's like if you go to on our videos now, you have our little logo in the lower right hand corner. That's where my face would be, and then the game I'm playing is going to be on the main focus of the game.
Great.
Anyway, let's start the show, Jeremy. Let's start the show.
We already played the music. I thought you were looking for it.
No, we already played the music, but
okay.
I sort of I've only been recording for 3 minutes because I forgot to hit record during that. So we theoretically could just start over and not even worry about this stupid fish conversation. Do you just want to do that?
So it didn't get the opening?
Yeah, no, it didn't get the opening.
Go ahead.
You just want to forego? Let's forego the because I could also download it from Facebook audio, so I don't have to. But do you think that fish conversation was fun for everybody?
I don't know. No.
Okay. But you know what it?
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay.
Maybe it was.
I don't know.
Maybe it was.
I don't know. I don't even care. You know what I do care about, though? Concierge. You go
I thought you were going to
concierge.
say the 29th Amendment. Or the 21st Amendment.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we might have to start over.
Okay, here we go.
He doesn't want 29th Amendment being on there.
No, well, I mean, I could just cut that out, but I think the consensus is let's just start over.
Okay.
Okay, how about that? Let me stop this. And if it's not, if people in the chat are like, no, you should leave it in, then I'll leave it in. I'll just download it from Facebook. What the hell is this? Oh, that's from Taryn's.
Music.
This is from Taryn's Big Brother podcast.
Good track.
Yeah, it's not bad, right? All right, here we go. For real this time. Hey, welcome everybody. Ears Up in Depth. I'm here with Jeremy. My name is Jason, and we're going to take you by the hand. We're going to walk. We're going to stroll hand in hand through the latest and greatest in Disney news. Jeremy,
what song is that?
What song is that?
Take you by the hand. Take you by. What is that? That's a song.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it is. I can't imagine in the entire catalog of music, no one has ever written the words "Take You by the Hand."
Yeah, it's got to be something. I think Taryn, if we said that to Taryn, she would know what we were talking about, or she would know what I was talking
Well,
about.
there's a "Take You by the Hand" song by Peter Frampton.
That must be it.
Good
old Framp coming through with a track for us.
It's a line in a Ween song. I don't know. Man.
Maybe Peter Frampton should be the new soundtrack to Ears Up in Depth.
Just cuz. Peter F. Frampy baby. Jeremy, how you doing, man? How are you? Don't you have a hurricane coming at you or something like that? Or that's already gone?
That hurricane, it was actually very devastating for people in Louisiana. It was not good.
Yeah.
I know a friend of a friend's roof was completely ripped off.
Damn.
He was telling me about it today, but it was forecast to come here and then regather itself into a tropical storm and give us quite a bit of rain. Saturday was a lovely day. I mean, it drizzled in the morning, and then it was like a wonderful afternoon. We were out to dinner, eating outside. I was like, this hurricane stinks.
Because I texted you. I was like, is that going to hit you? You're like, I don't know. I'm like, how do you not know? But apparently, and like I said, if it's not fire or earthquakes, I don't know anything about it. So I'm just making sure that you're going to be all right.
Well, who am I, Al Roker? Like, I don't know the track of a hurricane 4 days out.
I just figured that you would be on. If I know about it, I figured like you should know about it.
Yes. Well, it was supposed to come here. I think we did technically get it, but it had taken its dump of water all across the Midwest, and we were pretty much just watered our flowers, and that was nice. So,
well, that's good, man. That's very good.
Yeah. But thank you. I appreciate your kind concern.
Hey, man, I care about you. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know.
I know, and I don't like it, and it makes me uncomfortable. But that's okay. But you know what doesn't make me uncomfortable, Jeremy, is using concierge to plan my trips to the park if I was going to go. I know a man about town like you can't stay away from the parks. I hear you're going back to Disney World.
I'm going back at the end of the month.
Hell yeah, baby. Well, if you are like Jeremy and you want to go to Disney World, go use concierge.com, please. They are great people. They will help you navigate the ins and outs of the parks. They will help you get any reservations that might be available. They will help you determine what kind of PPE you need, all that kind of fun stuff. Check them out, and all that stuff is free. You just pay for the price of the actual ticket. It is not an upcharge. They do it to help you have a good time at Disney World, and hopefully soon, as one of my stories might allude to, maybe even Disneyland. We'll see. I don't know. But anyway, concierge.com, they're great people. They are our official travel partner, so please use them wherever you do some cool traveling like that.
Well, I was thinking about them today, and the reason is because I was doing one of my stories for tonight, trying to figure out, what is open, what's not open at Disney World. And I was like, this is really annoying to try to to find out, because Disney World isn't like, guess what's closed. They don't make that announcement. They're like, here's what's open. And then you sort of have to deduce, from process of elimination. I was like, there's got to be a good resource who could just be like, this is not open. And I think concierge would be that. I wanted to call them, but it was kind of too close to showtime, so I just sort of figured it out.
Oh yeah, you definitely can for sure, man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do. But that would have been a great time for them.
Absolutely.
So, no.
Absolutely. Well, Jer, what do you think? Do you want to go first? Well, I know I always say we should really figure this out before the show because it's unprofessional sounding, but that's ears up, baby.
That's because during our pre-show chat, we don't talk about the show. We talk about your dead fish tank and or your fertile fish tank.
Yeah,
suppose,
it's
really.
overly fertile.
Yes, I'll go.
I learned how fish have sex, by the way. And they don't really have sex. They like fan it's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because I forgot that we're like cutting off all our fish tank talk.
I know. We really should do an extra show called Fish Chat with.
Well, look, anytime you guys, if this kind of stuff makes you guys happy, anytime you see us going live, Jeremy and I like to start the show 15 minutes early, and we just chit chat.
Yeah, generally we talk about the gestation period of Jason's fish, which takes up a lot of time.
It really does.
Well, last time we recorded this show, Ears Up in Depth, we spoke about the return of nighttime fireworks spectaculars to the Shanghai Disney Resort. Do you remember that?
Of course I do.
Well, yeah, I figured. Well, there are developments in the nighttime spectacular arena.
I like that.
We didn't know last time, so let's get started. Tokyo Disney Resort, which includes Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea theme parks, announced that as of September 1st, which I think was yesterday, nighttime spectaculars and electrical parades will be returning to the resort. That means now Tokyo will be putting on its nightly fireworks spectacular Disney Light the Night, which interestingly can be seen from both their Tokyo Disneyland theme park and Tokyo Disney Sea, because I think they set it off in between them, and their electrical parade, but not so fast. Electrical parade fans, back it up, because for the time being, Tokyo Disneyland's Main Street electrical parade Dreamlights is not yet returning, and that's probably what I know. When I heard this, that's what I was like, oh, Dreamlights is back, that's great.
Right.
But Dreamlights is not coming back just yet. And if you recall, almost exactly a year ago, I did a Spectro Time segment on something called Nightfall Glow.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I actually do. I remember the names more than the actual information contained within.
Oh, so I shouldn't quiz you. Well,
Please do.
You look like you're drinking sake now.
No, it's just my little tiki glass that I have my whiskey in.
Oh, how dainty.
Thanks, man. I'm all about being dainty.
Nightfall Glow is a scaled-down nighttime parade that makes use of softly glowing LEDs and is used instead of the electrical parade during inclement weather. So that's how great Tokyo is. Our parks, if we're even lucky to have a nighttime electrical parade, which, by the way, neither American park does right now. But if it did and it rained, they would just say, sorry, it's not happening. But Tokyo has a substitute. It's sort of like their rainy day cavalcade. At just 4 floats, the parade is definitely smaller than its Baroque hoedown playing counterpart and features less performers, making it a perfect fit for a parade as we transition away from life under COVID lockdown. So nighttime spectacular and nighttime electrical parade returning to Tokyo, sticking around Asia, though. Not leaving just yet. Over at Hong Kong Disneyland, which you must be saying, I thought that was closed, Jer. It continues to remain closed despite having reduced their daily new infections by 92% in Hong Kong since the late July infection spike forced the reclosure of the park 3 weeks after its opening. Fireworks have been spotted in the nighttime skies once again over Hong Kong Disneyland. Though the park remains closed to guests, nearby onlookers have noticed fireworks appearing in the skies over the nearly completed Castle of Magical Dreams. YouTube channel HKDL Fantasy published a video showing the fireworks being tested last week, While there is no official word from Hong Kong authorities or Disney itself on when the park will reopen, it is speculated that Disney is moving forward testing a new nighttime fireworks spectacular to celebrate the newly transitioned Castle of Magical Dreams, which has undergone a facelift. It opened with the park in 2005 as an exact replica of the Sleeping Beauty Castle found at Disneyland in Anaheim. But Disney announced in December 2017 that as part of a larger Hong Kong Disneyland expansion, they would be converting the castle to this unique new look and name that pays tribute to 13 different Disney princesses and heroines.
13, that's too many, man. That's too many. We got too many.
Well, and it is a bit of a hodgepodge.
Yeah.
When you look at that castle, it's like 17 people designed it. It's like, well, there's no consistency. It looks ugly. Unlike the unique, consistent theming of something like Cinderella Castle or Sleeping Beauty Castle, in Anaheim or Paris, for that matter.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's fine. But the nighttime. So I don't know. We don't know what that means. But we do think that that's going to be a new spectacular for Hong Kong. But the nighttime excitement doesn't end there.
Okay, thank God.
So yeah. I don't want you to get sad thinking my story's over now.
I would never do that.
Okay. 2 days ago, a Reddit user posted the following quote: "About a week ago, my husband and I were what does this lady sound like? I'm trying to think. Well, about a week ago, my husband and I were dining at California Grill and had a great view of Magic Kingdom. It was dark, and after park hours,
I like it when it's dark.
How long can I do this? And we saw something like a show projection on the castle. We couldn't make out what it was. We also saw white flashing lights across Main Street. Does anyone know what this might have been?" So this lady clearly.
I mean, how is it not a lighting test? I mean, what do you think it is?
They're testing the castle. The park's closed. California Grill. They're overlooking it. So I don't know, but they were testing it without fireworks. So something is happening with castle projections over at Magic Kingdom. Now, it is important to note that Disney recently pulled back the park hours for the Magic Kingdom.
That's right.
Starting next week on Tuesday, September 8th, Magic Kingdom will close at 6 p.m. instead of what it's currently closing at, which is 7 p.m. And those hours are consistent through November 14th. I checked. And that is as far out as Disney park hours in Florida go right now. Okay. After which, Disney has not yet posted park hours, but 6 p.m. in Central Florida is still very much light out. Far too light to display a fireworks or projection show. So if a nighttime spectacular does come to light, we should expect park hours to be revised again.
Is that still the same in the fall? Because we are creeping towards the end of summer here.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's like what it was like dusk or twilight at 6, right? It's not dark enough for fireworks or projection even at 6, even in like October.
No, even in the middle of November. So I mean, like they could be getting ready for December. Maybe it's a Christmas projection show. Maybe it's Elsa's, Frozen fantasy.
Thank God. We need more of that. We really do. We need more Frozen.
It is possible that there could be a show with no fireworks. That's just a projection show. Before the old show Wishes, which was really just a fireworks spectacular, they would show something called Celebrate the Magic, which was purely a castle projection show with only very small amount of pyrotechnics at the end. And if you recall, Jace, we have said on this show, we speculated that one of the reasons they might not be putting these shows on is because they're really expensive, all these pyrotechnics. It's like,
they're not cheap, baby.
$50,000 a night.
Yeah.
Well, just a projection show reduces those costs quite a bit. So you can still offer some nighttime entertainment, not break the bank, keep people like me happy.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. So that's my first story. Nighttime spectaculars inching back towards us. So get ready.
I love it. I love it. Another thing to get ready for. With Walt Disney World operating for several weeks now and no known case of COVID being tied to the parks, I checked. All eyes are on Disneyland for a proposed reopen date. California has some of the strictest regulations in the country, but underneath the states, excuse me, my lack of spelling skills is really showing through. But underneath the state's new and exciting 4-tier plan, could we see the best theme park in the world reopen soon? And what would that actually look like? This new 4-tier system went into effect August 31st, which was Monday, and is a step forward from the old county-by-county restrictions that we used to have out here. Counties can enforce stricter codes, of course, but they cannot be less restrictive than the new statewide ones, if that makes any sense. This way, everyone in the state can be on the same page. While it doesn't specifically mention how theme parks fit into the plan, there is plenty of room for us to guess as to just how things could progress for Disneyland to actually open. Since the Disneyland Resort is a little bit of everything, you got hotels, you got bars, you have retail shops, you have theaters. These tiers can...
theaters?
Sure. These tiers can sort of apply to any portion of the Disneyland Resort, right? Governor Newsom said that the new 4-tier color-coded system would match a color to each of the 4 tiers, with purple representing the highest widespread risk level for a county, with more than 7 new cases per 100,000 residents, and more than 8% positivity rate. That's when you're in purple, that's what it is. You have 7 new cases per 100,000 and more than 8% positivity rate. Red will represent substantial risk, while orange represents moderate risk, and yellow is the lowest level, which is minimal risk. With those lower levels...
Why not green?
Well, that's actually funny you say that, Jeremy. Quote, "We don't put up green because we don't believe there is a green light that says just go back to the way things were or back to the pre-pandemic mindset," Newsom explained. Quite the contrary. These are the guidelines, the color-coded county guidelines that we're putting forward to get us through this flu season and work through the next few months in the state of California. Just to give you a peek behind the kimono here as to why we're, so restrictive. The governor noted that there were currently some 38 counties, or 87% of the state's population, live in purple categories, which is widespread, which is top tier, as outlined in the new system. Only 9 were even in the red tier. 8 counties were in the orange, and only 3 counties had qualified for the yellow minimal risk tier. We currently live in the purple widespread thing.
You're in purple?
Most of the state is purple, like everywhere. LA area, all through the Beltway, all up through the Bay Area, it's entirely purple.
So who the hell's yellow?
Like literally, I think it's Modoc County, which is, if you picture state of California in your mind, the top right corner is Modoc County. Yeah, right, exactly. And there's one county that sort of borders Nevada that's in the yellow, but it's rural areas that it's just, population density isn't that high.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're in the purple out here, which is makes me very comfortable. If you're wondering why we need to be sort of handheld along here, the state's first attempt at reopening led to an increased spread of the virus in June and July. The state's coronavirus hospitalizations spiked during that time from 3,142 on June 4th to 7,170 on July 21st. And that's not cases, that's hospitalizations, which is, sometimes more of an appropriate number, I think. Since mid-July, when the state clamped down on indoor operations and businesses like bars, movie theaters, and restaurants, statewide hospitalizations fell to a current 4,205 as of Thursday. So the clampdown is working. That's, as much as we like to cry and complain out here in California, we need to be told what to do, apparently. And it's reducing the amount of hospitalizations and cases too. So there's that.
Yeah, it does look like your case numbers are or at least they've plateaued, or starting to inch down.
They are starting to inch
but
down.
It's like a slow slog out there.
I almost swore. I hate it, bro. I hate it. It sucks. It sucks. And it weighs on me psychologically because I see you doing all this stupid stuff that I would consider stupid now, but based on just going out and having dinner outside, I would catch me never doing that. But you have a different frame of reference for this than I do. This is where I'm at. I'm in Purple County, baby. Like, we get a little taste of freedom, and suddenly we just go ballistic, and we're just blowing it. Like, instead of handshaking, you would think that everyone here just blows in each other's face. Hey, nice to meet you. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like the clown game with water, but just blowing. It's insane, and I just I don't understand it. I don't get it, but I did hear the other day that Orange County, obviously where Disneyland is, down south, has been taken or close to being taken off the watch list for explosive coronavirus stuff. So people are starting to sort of calm down about it. People are starting to wear masks out in public. They're being cautious, and cases are on the dip.
On the dip. So does that mean, what color is Orange County? No,
purple.
No pun intended.
It's purple.
They're purple?
It's still purple. But imagine being in the purple and on the watch list, which is also what our county is on. So that's why I'm like, I don't go outside. I don't do anything. I'm not going to the store. I'm not ordering takeout. I don't trust anybody. I barely can survive getting a delivery from UPS. Like, you know what I mean? It's insane. Yeah. But it's because of this. It's because of other people. I mean, I have a mental illness anyways. That should shock nobody who listens to this show. But yeah, that doesn't help matters. But it's the fact that you see the numbers, and it's like, it really is that bad. It really is that bad.
I'm surprised.
Anyway.
Because also, I've been out there a couple of times. It doesn't feel like where you live is very populated.
It's not. We're farm country out here.
It's very
rural. We're the edge of the East Bay. We're over the mountain. We're over Mount Diablo. We're as far as you can get from the East Bay, from San Francisco, and still be in the same kind of. Anyway, yeah.
Keep your eye on us, because this Friday in New Jersey we can start eating indoors.
Oh,
our gyms are open.
I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that's not gonna last. But anyway, let me go on.
Keep it going.
Of course, we already have some businesses in the resort open in downtown Disney, mainly retail, but I think some food as well. I've always wondered why they aren't doing this in the theme parks as well. Honestly, like, no rides, but just get Main Street open. Like, why can't you just have Main Street and Buena Vista Street open? At least just to let people walk around. Imagine there's nothing going on, but you can still walk around. What's to stop people from, walking downtown Disney? You're still shoulder to shoulder. If you haven't seen that video that Jimmy Hunt from Supreme Resort shot for us in the opening day of downtown Disney, check it out. There were people, he was getting brushed and bumped, and that was fine. So why not open Main Street in Disneyland, let people get a churro at a cart or something like that? Like, why not open that, but just have no rides? You can let people walk around. Yeah. I wouldn't go down there for it, but I want it open just because, you know what we were talking about the other day when Shanghai Disney opened, and you're like, I just would feel better knowing, going to bed at night, that there's a Disney theme park open somewhere, right?
Yeah.
This is paraphrasing what you said. And I think that would be kind of cool because, how many people, and we've talked about on the show, sometimes you just sort of want to walk around Disneyland, not do anything, but just take in the sights and sounds.
Yeah, it's usually what I do.
Right. So how cool would that be, especially at like a tier 1 where there's a 25% capacity and you can just walk around and take all the dumb Instagram photos you want and pose in the park and do the thing and heart hands and all this kind of garbage that everybody does? That would be really cool. And you can still charge for it, but maybe not $100. Maybe you charge $50. I still think people would pay $50 to do nothing in the park but walk around.
I agree with you. I am perfect. I'm happy. I agree with this concept. I like this. It occurs to me that I seem to remember hearing you on these very same airwaves say they shouldn't be open unless they can be completely normal, because your trip is never going to be the same as it once was. So what's the point? So now that you are supporting these half measures, I'm just a little shocked, though I'm happy you finally come around.
Well, it's yeah, okay, I don't know how to defend that. So let me continue.
Keep going.
The two sectors of business that closely matches Disneyland would be family entertainment centers, places that have like batting cages and mini golf and arcades and whatever. You've been to a family entertainment center before, I imagine, like go-karts, and then you go into play the arcade and you pay $1 to play Time Crisis 4 and you lose, and you go, you know what I mean? Then you go get pizza that sucks, and then you go, and museums. Those would be, I think, the two that would be closest. But in those guidelines, they specifically mention that the guidelines don't apply to theme parks, which I think is really very funny. But
right.
Seeing how these new tiers are just now being implemented, I think it is possible we could see some rides open sooner rather than later. And let's figure out what these tiers are. Under California's new 4-tier system, museums, zoos, and aquariums are permitted to have outdoor operations in Tier 1, which is still considered widespread risk, which is us. Right. So you still can't have outdoor like Alameda County, our neighbor county, that's where Oakland is, and Pleasanton and all these places, Dublin, whatever. They have a zoo, Oakland Zoo. They're open, but you need a reservation system, and it's very limited. So you could still do that. I don't think there's any reason that Disneyland can't do that. But anyways, Tier 1, still considered a widespread risk. Indoor operations are limited to 25% capacity in Tier 2, which is substantial risk, so it's a little bit lower, and 50% in Tier 3, which is moderate risk, followed by full operations in Tier 4, which is minimal risk. So even at Tier 4, where everybody's still operating in full, there's still a risk. Family entertainment centers are 1 degree more restrictive, allowing outdoor operations in Tier 1 and 2, with indoor operations limited to 25% capacity in Tier 3 and 50% in Tier 4. So family entertainment centers like at Disneyland wouldn't necessarily be full operations in Tier 4. They would be 50% in Tier 4.
Right.
If that makes any sense. So outdoor operations for Disneyland. Let's pretend that was open. That's definitely Tom Sawyer's Pirate Island or whatever, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's an outdoor operation. The Rivers of America, Mark Twain. Maybe not the sailing ship Columbia. Maybe you just close off the downstairs, but leave everybody on the deck.
Okay.
I don't know, right? Main Street. Main Street just opens, but the shops are closed. But you could still walk down Main Street, because that's like 10% of the trip anyway, is walking down Main Street and like marveling at Main Street for me.
But do you want to walk down a closed Main Street?
I don't care. I love Main Street. I love Main Street.
But you love it because of the way it is. You love the bustle, the people going in and out, the fact that you could pop in. I'll tell you.
No.
Yes, you're wrong. I want you to know.
Aesthetically, I love Main Street.
I do too.
I don't like the bustle. I hate people. I dislike being in crowds. The most angst-ridden I've been in Disneyland is on Main Street, because of people going, I'm going to full stop. Let me look at my map. I can't deal with it.
Yes. What I would say is that, having gone to Magic Kingdom, so they've got it like the shops are open, but not all the entrances and exits are. So in certain sections of it, it feels like they're closed. And in fact, some things are closed on Main Street. And it was weird. That's one thing I didn't like. Okay. I was like, here I am, and I want these to be open. But it's like, I'm here.
You and I are very different. And so I feel like I would be okay with it. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Surprised.
We'll see.
I'm surprised at this, because I know,
We'll see. So outdoor operations, Disneyland Railroad, maybe. But you do have some spots where you're indoors, like in a tunnel or whatever. Maybe that matters. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Mickey and the Magical Map Theater, whatever, by Toontown.
Yes.
That's a thing. What I'm less sure of is what this means for outdoor rides. Would Jungle Cruise be an outdoor operation?
You could ride those cars.
Autopia for sure. I would guess, right? Big Thunder. But that line, but the queue going up to the line.
Listen. Let me tell you this. There's no queues.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to worry about it, because there's nobody there.
That's true. Okay. But I wonder if it'll be different from Disneyland, because Disneyland is smaller.
Yeah, but they'll let less people in. I think it all is a relative thing. Okay. I'm telling you.
These are all outside and could easily open at the required 25% capacity. Tier 2 is indoor theater operations. So that means you have your Golden Horseshoe, Your great moments with Mr. Lincoln, the Enchanted Tiki Room. Indoor attractions such as Star Wars, Rise of the Resistance, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, Star Tours, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Indiana Jones, blah, blah, blah. All of Fantasyland, Dark Rides, Peter Pan could reopen at 25% capacity in 50% capacity after that.
Yeah.
That would make me finally get on Peter Pan. But I don't know, man. Also, like, it just depends on how they did the Fantasyland. But I could definitely see Disneyland opening in a tier 1 with much of the park being closed, but maybe your ticket is an automatic park hopper and you can do DCA also.
Sure.
Just to walk around. I mean, what do you got out there? You got the pier games. You got the roller coaster or whatever.
You got that big
Maters
river, Raging River.
You got the Raging Rapids River. Yeah, you got.
What is that called?
I don't know. It's Raging Rapids, man. You got.
There's that nature trail.
You got the nature trail guy. You got, whatever, man. You got all the stuff, right? So there's stuff to do. I definitely think they can do that. But would a Disneyland trip be worth it to you, Jer, if you could only do stuff in tier 1, only outdoor activities, which may or may not include rides? I don't know yet.
Well, you're asking someone who lives on the East Coast. That's a little bit more of a tough one. But if I was a local, sure, I'd pop over there. What the hell else am I doing?
Yeah, I guess. I did read a story that people saw horses being taken down Main Street today for the first time.
In
Disneyland.
Well, maybe they just got to stretch their legs.
I know, but it could also be like they're getting everybody ready to kind of like, let's get back into it kind of a thing, you know?
I'm sure. Well, Newsom was on the news today. Gavin Newsom, your governor, he said something that they're making a lot of progress, and that because someone he was giving a press conference and someone asked, like, what's going on with theme parks? And he said, we can't make any announcements right now, but we're making a lot of progress. Still a few things we're trying to work through, but watch this space. So I think it's coming very fast.
All right. Well, there you go.
That would be my guess.
Before I hand it over to you, Jeremy, I do want to remind everybody of the 21st Amendment. You can go to 21stamendment.com. They are the greatest craft brewery in the history of the world. And if you don't believe me, come out to San Leandro, bro, and you find out. You find out for yourself. They have great food, they have great beer, and they will make you great. And if you can't come out here, which I understand, that's totally fine, ask for them wherever you find good craft beer. They're in over 29 states now. I think they're like 30. So I'm just going to say 29 because I'm in marketing, and that's what you do. So ask for them at your local, wherever you buy your beer, your local, swill hole, or I don't know, whatever it's called. Liquor store, I guess, is probably a more appropriate term. But ask for the 21st Amendment. If they don't carry it, demand it, please, because they're good friends of the show, and they support the show, and I love them.
Hon, I'm running down to the swill hole. You need anything? What is a swill hole?
Just more napkins. I don't know, man. Give me a second. I got to get my phone. I don't even need to explain it to you. Just give me a second. I don't need to explain anything.
We don't even have a right to know at this point anymore. Okay, so what's going on in the chat? Does Jeremy have any recommendations for comfortable masks? Well, you can go to spectroradio.us and click support Spectro shop, and you can get a Spectro Radio themed mask, but from TeePublic. But when you do, make sure you get the big one. The small ones are a little tight, unless maybe it's for little tykes. In fact, I've got one right here. And this is I can't do it with my headphones on. So this is it. This is a Spectra Radio, one of my masks. And you'll just find when you talk, sometimes it comes up over the chin, sometimes it comes down. But there's a larger size that flexes. Get that one if you're going to get a Spectro mask. Otherwise, I really use just the blue and white ones that flip, the hospital grade ones that you can get anywhere, and they stay on. And apparently they have an electrostatic layer that keeps the diseases at bay, apparently. So if you have that, which the cloth ones that you can buy, which are lovely, they don't have that electrostatic layer. mostly, unless you buy one that specifically says that it does. So especially in the hot sun, I found that to be lighter. Although I did wear these in the park, it annoyed me a little bit. And also, this is another thing that I did find about these ones that you buy is they're not as breathable as the blue and white ones. And so I found that they were, sticking and breathing in, and it was harder to breathe. So that's it.
Okay. Well, there
so you have
go.
to edit all that out because someone in the chat asked if I knew of any comfortable masks. So obviously I was marketing the Spectro Radio ones.
Well, that's okay. I'll send you an invoice, man.
But then I was also, I was giving them honest opinion about them because they do have some shortcomings.
Of course, for sure, man. I have some that are coming from Honeywell, which is like a big, like industrial products people.
Sure, Honeywell.
But the problem with the masks that I have, they have a filter in them, but they fit like this over my face. So I know you can't see if you're listening to the pod, but like it barely fits over my big giant Greek nose and my big giant Greek mouth. It like barely fits. So these are like more full face. They come under the chin and like over the bridge of the nose. Yes. I'm hoping they pinch on my nose because I have like a big nose, but it's like oddly thin bridge. So all of these friggin' masks don't actually clamp and they fog up. Anyway, so I got some of those coming, but those are like mid to late September. But those are supposed to be, from what I can read from the company, like they've tested pretty high at like, whatever. And they have a formed filter to fit your face also, to fit the whole thing. Because that's the problem. You can buy those masks that fit over everything, but if your filter isn't covering the nose, it's not doing anything.
Right.
That's what I don't like about all these masks and stuff like that. It's like there's so many that just suck, but there's no overarching like mask governance or something like that. Anyway, whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's a challenge.
You're a challenge. Okay. Jeremy.
Well, I'm sure you know that Disney World reopened to the public in July, but due to limited ability of people to travel to Florida from out of state or to come back, it's not open to full capacity by any means, which is what we've been talking about. While many of the resort hotels have reopened to the public, several have remained closed, including Disney's All-Star Sports Resorts and Disney's Polynesian Village Resorts, which is a fan favorite. Originally scheduled to reopen in October of this year, Disney has now announced that the Polynesian will instead remain closed until summer 2021 as the resort undergoes a refurbishment.
Okay.
So they decided to take advantage of the downtime and spruce that place up.
Now they got a little bit of money coming in.
They cash flow coming through. They got nobody coming over there, so why not dust the place off a bit?
The Poly, right?
Polynesian. Yes.
That's sort of like from what I can tell on Diz Twitter, that's sort of like one of the untouchable spaces where anytime there's a change, people get way out of hand with it. Are you concerned at all about hearing that noise amplified on Diz Twitter when everything is sort of unveiled or whatever, where it's like, oh, the fountain, like I remember like the fountain being gone is a whole thing or like whatever, right? So I don't know. I wonder if people are nervous about it.
Well, I'm a little nervous about some of the things I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
But
all right.
At the same time, I've never even stayed there.
Neither have I, because it's $100,000 a night. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very expensive. So while on the one hand, someday it's a dream. I'm sure I'll stay there at some point in my life. But I don't really, I would like it to stay true to its soul. I think I like to visit the Polynesian. For having not stayed there, I'm at that resort a lot.
Okay.
Because of all the other the eating and it has a luau and all these other things. So it tends to be a place I'm there. I'm there more than most other resorts.
Okay.
Because I just really like it.
Yeah.
Officially, Disney has stated, quote, due to ongoing refurbishments at the Great Ceremonial House, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort will remain closed until summer 2021. But I don't know what I typed here. The Orlando Sentinel is also, here it is. The Orlando Sentinel is also reporting that rooms will be receiving a Pacific Ocean inspired color palette. and elements of theming to Disney's Moana. This is where I start to get a little uncomfortable because the color palette of the Polynesian, much like Alani, is earth tones, browns. It's that very it's it's Polynesian.
Yeah.
When I think of Polynesian architecture or interiors, I don't think of blues. Or I mean, they didn't say blues, but a Pacific Ocean inspired color palette to me says shades of blue.
Yeah. For what do you got? Kim Irvine doing this? It's gonna be pastels.
Right. So I'm a little worried about that because I have stayed at Alani, and I think that the rooms are similar in style, general aesthetic.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, from what little I know about the poly, it's almost more like darker wood, sort of like craftsman style darker wood, not craftsman style in the build, but there is that sort of like walnut hues to it, where the Alani is a little more like lighter browns. Look at us. We're the interior design show.
Oh, I know.
It's designing women over here.
I didn't realize I was on with Jonathan Adler over here.
I'm Joe Rohde. Look, I have an earring.
Look, I got an earring. I'm ready to do this. Also remaining closed will be Trader Sam's Grog Grotto,
of course,
and the Ohana restaurant.
Okay.
Also, given that the rooms are closed and Trader Sam's is closed, the monorail will cease its service at the resort in October as well. However, all is not quiet at the Polynesian. The guest favorite Tambu Lounge, famous for its lapu lapus that come in a pineapple, recently reopened. And a quick glance at Disney's parks operating schedule shows the lounge remaining open daily from 4 p.m. through the end of October. Presumably, the Tambu Lounge will remain open to provide something to guests that will be staying at the Polynesian Villas, part of Disney Vacation Club. They will remain open to the resort's closure. So DVC Villas at the Polynesian will remain open. And I think I will be popping by the Tambu Lounge for a Lapu Lapu in my near future. But otherwise, the Polynesian Village and the hotel rooms are closed. And if you want to stay at the Polynesian while it's closed, you can actually buy DVC points. Like if you're not a DVC member, you can still get in there because you can buy the points. There's several online places where you can trade them. So not completely closed off our Polynesian.
Okay.
That's it. That's what's happening. Polynesian's closing for a refurb.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Hopefully it's good stuff, man.
I hope so too.
As many of you know by now, actor Chadwick Boseman passed away on August 28th at the age of 43. Chadwick, who brought Marvel's Black Panther to life on the big screen, had been quietly battling colon cancer for 4 years. In a timeline that sees celebrities share most everything about themselves on a daily basis, keeping this quiet shocked everybody, pretty much. In a statement from the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger said, quote, "We are all heartbroken by the tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman, an extraordinary talent and one of the most gentle and giving souls I have ever met. He brought enormous strength, dignity, and depth to his groundbreaking role of Black Panther, shattering myths and stereotypes, becoming a long-awaited hero to millions around the world, and inspiring us all to dream bigger and demand more than the status quo. We mourn all that he was, as well as everything he was destined to become. For his friends and millions of fans, his absence from the screen is only eclipsed by his absence from our lives. All of us at Disney send our prayers and heartfelt condolences to his family." This was the first time I had heard of the name Chadwick Boseman when he was cast as Big Brother. Jesus, I'm like mixing my podcast now. When he was cast as Black Panther. But the man was in some pretty big and really defining roles. He played Jackie Robinson in the biopic 42 back in 2013. He played James Brown in Get On Up. I think it was 2014, actually. It was like back to back. And he played Thurgood Marshall in Marshall, which I think was 2015 or 16 maybe. Like, he's played some iconic Black Americans. Like, he has, I mean, that's amazing. That's just an amazing, filmography there.
Sure.
Boseman graduated from Howard University in 2000 and returned in 2018 to not only give the commencement address at the historically Black university, but he also received his honorary doctorate which was really cool. He spoke of getting fired from an early acting role because he questioned the show's producers about it playing on stereotypes. Quote, "Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember, the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When I dared to challenge the system that would relegate us, to victims and stereotypes with no clear historical backgrounds, no hopes or talents, when I questioned that method of portrayal, a different path opened up for me, the path to my destiny." And so I urge you to Google this. Go on YouTube. Watch his speech. It's 20 minutes. It's a great speech. As far as speeches go for commencement addresses, it's inspirational. He talks a lot about this moment, actually, where this moment was his first on-screen role. So he went to Howard and he was like majoring. He actually got his degree in directing. And he wrote plays. He was a playwright. He directed. That's what he wanted to do. But he moved to LA to become an actor. Anyway, he was like teaching, acting, whatever. He got his first screen role on a soap opera.
And which one?
I don't know. He doesn't say, and I didn't look because what am I,
Why would you go in depth?
Yeah. And he talks about this moment for like 5 minutes. And it's basically he was cast as a black man who turns to a life of crime because of his past or whatever. So he shoots like 2 days and he has a meeting with the producers and he's like, "I want to know a little more about my character. Like, where's his dad?" And they go, "Well, of course he left at an early age." And he's like, "Okay, where's his mom?" "Well, of course she's on heroin." And he's like, "Okay." And he's getting angry and upset because it's this stereotypical of black people and stereotypical of hopefully not the roles he's playing. And he just wants to like whatever. So he goes, one of them goes, "Yeah. Well, first of all, they start the meeting with, 'We want you to stick around for a long time. We love what you're doing. We see your character being here for like a long time, for months, right? So blah, blah, blah. If you're unhappy or you want to like talk with the writers and maybe you can sort of like lend a little creativity to the thing." And he goes, "Yeah, man, I would love that because I would love to find this character has a strength. Maybe he's good at math. Maybe he, stands up for the little guy or something to kind of hold on to, right?" And the next day he was fired. And he got the stigma in Hollywood that he was difficult to work with. And so he's sort of bringing it back, of course, to his education at Howard with like what I learned at Howard University is to stand up for myself, to not let people play on stereotypes. And so anyway, that role led him down the path to becoming Black Panther. There's this whole like thing, right? Look it up. It was a cool speech. It was really, honestly, I'm an emotional like guy anyway, but it brought some tears to the old peepers. I'm not going to lie to you.
No. He was on All My Children.
There you go. Look at that. Crack reporter Jeremy.
He played gang member Reggie Porter Montgomery. So.
Yes, he turned to a life of crime because, of course, his family was broken. Whatever.
And he was replaced by none other than Michael B. Jordan.
So that makes a lot of sense because Michael B. Jordan he played opposite him in Black Panther.
Oh, that's not a basketball player?
That's Michael A. Jordan. This is Michael B. Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so he mentions that in the thing. He goes, it's hard when you see somebody take a role after you when you've been fired and do a better job than you, but you have to take solace in the fact that it's because of what you did that allowed them to grow into this role. It was very like destiny and God driven.
Okay.
With his speech, which I'm not really a big Destiny or God guy, but it was sort of powerful and empowering to how he looked at adversity like that, where it's like, because I stood up for this, it allowed this person to stretch the role out to sort of what he wanted in the first place, but just with somebody else.
The role where he challenged this character was the role on All My Children?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was in a movie.
No, it was literally his first screen role.
His role.
Yeah, that was his role, and he got fired for it. God. And he got almost blackballed for it. And he kind of talks about it. He goes, "Was I blackballed? I don't really know." Anyway, find the speech. It was cool, man. Chadwick has a knack for giving some excellent interviews and speeches. So go search, like I said, YouTube for his name and just listen to that Howard University speech. And he's given some other interviews that are pretty good. It's it's great. In an award ceremony for Denzel Washington last year, Boseman had this to say about the role Denzel played, and not only Boseman's career, but gave the man credit for so much more. And I want to play the whole thing. It's a little long. It's 2.5 minutes. But I think it's really important because he not only gives respects to Denzel Washington and sort of explains how he sort of got in this role in the first place, but it sort of speaks to the man's character, to Chadwick Boseman's character and who he was as a person. So bear with me for a second.
Okay.
This is at AFI Awards last year, and he's on the stage.
I know personally
he's skinny.
That your generosity extends past what you have given
on
the stage and screen. Many of you already know the story that Mr. Washington, when asked by Felicia Rashad to join her in assisting 9 theater students from Howard University who had been accepted to a summer acting program at the British Academy of Dramatic Acting in Oxford, he gracefully and privately agreed to contribute. As fate would have it, I was one of the students that he paid for.
This is a tribute to Denzel Washington, and he's in the audience, tears in his eyes.
Your tuition for that summer was paid for, and that your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet. I have no doubt that there are similar stories at boys and girls clubs and theaters and churches across the country where I know you have also inspired and motivated others. An offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold. It is a seed of hope, a bud of faith. There is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. And not just because of me, but my whole cast, that generation stands on your shoulders. The daily battles won, the 1,000 territories gained, the many sacrifices you made for the culture on film sets through your career, the things you refused to compromise along the way, laid the blueprints for us to follow. And so now, let he who has watered be watered. Let he who has given be given too. It is an honor to now know you, to learn from you, and join in this work with you. May God bless you exceedingly and abundantly more in what's in store than he ever has before. God bless you.
I don't know. Anyway. He was look, he gave a good speech. But yeah, he was pretty skinny. And people were commenting, oh, he maybe he's getting in shape for a role or whatever, but he was on the tail end of this, maybe not tail end, but he was battling colon cancer, which is hard. I mean, I had 2 uncles that passed away from colon cancer, man, and within 6 months of each other. Like, they went quick. This man took it for 4 years, and he had it while he was doing Black Panther. So next time you watch Black Panther, I mean, I don't know, man. Think about the incredible energy this man had and passion for what he wanted to do. And it sort of resonates in that speech because it's not just him being an actor, it's him being a trailblazer and I think he talks about it in the Howard speech, or maybe it was another interview. What you do now is not helping you, it's helping people who come after you. And I think that's just an experience that is unique to Black Americans and to anybody of color. It's when you fight for something, when you have something to say, you're helping people who come after you. And it's not only sad, but it's also incredibly uplifting and sort of I don't know, sort of checks everybody. I think it checked me. I don't know. I felt very emotional about it. But anyway, the outpouring of emotion over the loss of such a charismatic man with big dreams is nonstop. From actors telling stories about the man to kids from the suburbs staging funerals with their Marvel action figures, which was cute but sad at the same time, man. Black Panther struck a chord with many people across many generations. So much so that Whoopi Goldberg is now calling for Disney to build a Wakanda land dedicated to Boseman. Quote, "Dear people in charge of building new experiences in Disneyland and World, we don't really need another Frozen land, but what we could use is Wakanda," she tweeted. And of course, she spelled Disneyland with 2 words. and Wakanda with an O instead of another A, so she misspelled a bunch. But you know what? What are you going to do? Please, Disney World, one word, Disneyland, please build in Chadwick Boseman's name, Wakanda, and misspelled it again. Disney World, one word. And isn't she a Disney legend? Like, you'd think that she would sort of like know this stuff.
Is she a Disney legend?
I don't know. I thought she was.
She also.
Oh yeah. I don't.
Oh, she was one of the. She was in The Lion King.
There you go. What resonated really with me is we don't need another Frozen land, which I sort of like interpret that as we don't need more Frozen representation, which I definitely agree with. At first,
thanks for coming. Yeah, well, not for nothing. Like, sorry, this guy, poor guy, had to die for someone to finally say it.
I know, right? Yeah, someone who matters. Yeah, I know. Me too. And it's like, oh, now Whoopi says it. Now suddenly she gets all the press for it.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was all this press when I was saying it? I was screening it.
Exactly.
Where's my press?
It in the Norway Pavilion, people.
At first, I thought Wakanda Land would be kind of impossible for a few reasons, but I was thinking, what if they made it like Innoventions, right? Wakanda has this futuristic technology. Disney could really do it up and make a Wakanda tech walkthrough with emissaries from the nation of Wakanda. They're giving demonstrations, a gallery of items and costumes, etc. Basically, just delete Star Wars Launch Bay and just go Black Panther with it. I mean, they screwed Star Wars up all kinds of ways, and so much so that Kathleen Kennedy, who's in charge of the Star Wars, Lucasfilm, whatever, announced that they're taking a break from Star Wars to sort of reassess and figure out where to go with it, because they beeped it up. They farted it up so much. People don't like it, so they need to like kind of let's pull back or whatever. But everyone really loves Black Panther. I liked the movie. I didn't love it. I thought it was a little rough around the edges, but Chadwick was amazing in it. Anyway.
I've never seen it.
It's really good, man. It's really good. Some of it takes place in Oakland, supposedly, which is cool.
Cool.
It's good, man. I mean, the man, this cat was charismatic. He was good. And I haven't seen the Jackie Robinson biopic, and I haven't seen the James Brown, because I have a problem watching biopics. I don't know. Like, I feel like the actor is always just sort of like going ham on it. But hearing the speeches and watching his interviews on like Colbert and like The Breakfast Club and all this kind of stuff, I mean, he just has this, and then learning more about he wrote plays. He was a playwright. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It just sort of makes a lot of sense how expressive he is, and he's talking about the role, and he's like, we like that salute, the Wakanda salute, where you cross your arms over your chest. It's very specific. It's right over left. And he talks about it on, I think, a Colbert interview. And he's like, the director wanted some sort of salute, so we worked on this. And he goes, I pulled from a lot of like Egyptian, whatever. So he's very smart, very knowledgeable about his heritage, and he knows like the area from Africa where he came from. So he wanted to work a lot of that aspect into his character and like how to really bring this character to life. And it was just, I don't know, man, it was very cool. It seemed much cooler in retrospect than watching it and going, oh, this is a boardroom of 50 people going, we should pull this from this ancient tribe or whatever. But it was a lot of his influence in the character and how he worked with everybody. And it was, I don't know, man, it was pretty cool.
Well, I think, and that's one of the things I think why we like doing this and why we like doing, the show and the segments and all that, is because you do learn a lot of times. These things aren't just drawn up at random. They're, like when I did the segment on The Lion King. Yeah. Right. Like all of that music was from the guy who was from Africa. And he said, this is what this means. And we didn't know what it meant. And it has all this stuff. It's nice when people bring something to it. What hit me was that he is, well, I mean, he's a little bit older than me, so he's not really a millennial. But he's a younger person.
He's Gen X. He's 43. I'm 42.
Right, but he was really giving. Well, I guess we do that in our generation. But he was really paying homage to Denzel and saying, how he gave so much. Yeah. Which I thought that was really meaningful, because certainly Denzel is a trailblazer. Oh yeah. So it's nice to hear him acknowledge that and say, when he said, "I stood on your shoulders," I think that's kind of a nice sentiment, because it's ultimately true. Yeah. But it's also just really scary and sad, and hopefully that there's a lesson out there, is that someone so young, like, people get screened.
People get screened, man. And even with me, with two uncles having passed from it, it took me until I was 40 to get screened. And then I read an article probably prompted by his passing, but more and more younger people are being afflicted with colon cancer because of a lot of the processed foods that we eat and all that kind of stuff. So it's you know, I eat pretty clean. I don't really eat fast food, so I feel all right with it, and you know, it's fine. But talk to your doctors about it. And there were articles about like symptoms and whatever. And as far as I understand, there's symptoms for pregnancy also at the same time. Like it's pretty general, but talk to your doctors. Just talk to your doctors.
I cannot read symptoms. If
Neither
I
can
read
I.
them,
I'll have
that's
them.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
out.
for sure.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I can't. I think I literally just have to go to the doctor and be like, look, we all know why I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to, I say love, I would love to know his family history because it passes on for sure. So it's, you know, and that's more of a factor, I think, to be getting screened. Like if your immediate family has had it, you need to get screened before 45. You know, they say 45 generally for people. It's earlier.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But this guy obviously had it when he was 39.
Yeah, and then he got cast in Black Panther, and you know, he's talking I think to Colbert again about a day on the set, which is 12 hours of shooting, and then you have conditioning after that because you have to be in peak physical condition to do all the fighting, and then he's talking about like learning new different ways of fighting to bring the way they fight in Senegal and to bring that to his character. Like he's learning all this different stuff, and he's exhausted. So that can't help his prognosis or his, you know what I mean? It has to exacerbate something, but
sure,
he was doing what he loved to do, truly.
He did what he loved.
And I really honestly believe that he was doing it more for people who came after him. That's sort of a sentiment that he talks about in all these interviews. And I really feel like that was part of the reason why he drove himself so hard. Anyway.
Right.
That's my story. So rest in peace, Chadwick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel terrible.
Well, you should. But you look great, but you might feel terrible, but you look great.
Do I?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, man.
I didn't even shave. I haven't shaved in like 3 days. I got to shave.
Can't tell.
Tomorrow. Well, I don't know. I feel bad leaving it on that note. You know?
Are you done?
Sad.
You're done.
I'm done.
Well, let me just tell you real fast. It's very, very quick. Disney is making a new Haunted Mansion movie.
Oh, I feel like I heard about this.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy years ago?
Yeah.
Talk about
of course.
A trailblazer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Eddie Murphy stood on the shoulders of Richard Pryor 100%. And then that's as far back as I go. But yeah, Eddie Murphy 100%. I don't know how I feel about this, and let me be just super basic and stupid for a second. It's written by the Katie Dippold, who wrote the Ghostbusters in 2016, the all-female Ghostbusters.
Okay.
So I don't really feel too good about it, and I never saw that Ghostbusters, but I talked to several people who've seen it, and they say it's terrible. It's just awful. It's trying to be like too funny. And with the gags that are in Haunted Mansion, it makes me feel like that's what they're going to go for again. And I sort of don't really understand why Disney would do this. Why they would take a writer from a movie that was not very well received and hand them the helm of a Haunted Mansion movie. It was also... let's see. I have another article here that gives a little bit more detail about who.
Well, they've also screwed up the Haunted Mansion once before. Like you already did this. Like, let's not go down this road again. Or please, at least do it right this time, please.
Producers are Dan Lin and Jonathan Eric through the Rideback banner. Lin has extensive producer experience with Sherlock Holmes, which those Sherlock Holmes movies with Tony Stark, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., those were okay. I mean, for what they were at the time, they'd made a lot of money. The It movies, which were great, I thought they were pretty good. Lego franchises, so the producers have a good experience. Until you read the next line. He and Eric teamed up on Disney's live-action Aladdin.
Oh, God, that was a train wreck.
I know. So they come from all these like this sort of like background, and then it's Aladdin. You're like, oh, okay. So you have the writer for the female Ghostbusters, which from what I understand was not very good. You have the producers from Aladdin, from which from my understanding was not pretty good. And it's like, okay, now we're gonna be now we're gonna be here, man. Just trying to do this again.
If all the ingredients in your soup stink, your soup's gonna stink.
Your soup's gonna stink,
You
baby.
have good ingredients. They're not putting anything good in this. I'm worried. I'm very worried.
I'm worried too, man.
I'm more worried about this than getting. Well, I'm not gonna say.
Please don't say it. Are we done, Jer?
Yeah, we gotta go.
All right, let me check the chat real fast.
I
No
am
one's
worried.
here. Okay.
I'm worried. I don't want them.
I don't. I'm worried
Haunted
too,
Mansion
brother.
is one of their most prized attractions, and they keep,
It's my
bastardizing it.
It's my ultimate favorite part about Tears in Disneyland, Haunted Mansion, New Orleans.
Oh, I thought you had tears in Disneyland. Like, I see the Haunted Mansion. I have tears.
I mean, I am that emotional.
Okay. But levels of tears.
Yeah, S tier would be Haunted Mansion. Then you have Main Street. Then you have the Disneyland Railroad. Then you have New Orleans Square in general. And then everything else could just go away. I don't really care about it. Those are my 3 favorite parts about Disneyland. Haunted Mansion being number 1. So, you know what? I'm waiting for 10 years from now where they do a beeping movie about Main Street. Like, they're going to try. Autopia. I guarantee you within 20 years, mark my words, within 20 years, there will be an Autopia movie.
Well, there is it's Fast and Furious. It was like 10 of them.
The Slow and the Delirious. That's that's the Autopia movie.
The swerving and the polluting.
Oh, that ride is so bad. But honestly, sort of fun. It's like one of the best like what is that? That's the wrong one. There we go. That was Taryn's house meeting podcast intro that we were hearing. Autopia is one of like the most like sadomasochist ride. Like, it's fun, but it sucks at the same time. You hate every second of it, and then when you get off, you're like, man, that was really cool. Let's do it again.
I feel like that's the Matterhorn for me. Except that when I get up, I'm like, let's get away from this thing.
Matterhorn is definitely like okay. So this is stupid. There's a beer that Sam Adams makes called Utopias. Yeah, Utopias. Where it's like a super hyper, 25% viscous nonsense thing, and they make it every year. And talking to the talking to Sam Adams reps, it's like they literally make it for press. So when they make this beer, it's like $150 a bottle, and they literally make it because they're going to generate press from it. And the amount of press that they make justifies, like, they get written up in Wall Street Journal, so they take that ad space and they go, they're very big on fuzzy math, right? And they go, okay, well, that would generate this much, this would cost this much, so whatever. But like
it comes from their marketing budget. Yeah, it's a loss leader.
Yeah. On at GABF at the Great American Beer Festival, you can get sometimes a free sample of it, just like an ounce, and 1 ounce will last you the year, or maybe 5 years. I haven't had any Utopias in like 5 years because I can still taste it. I have a decent taste memory, and it's like that where it's like with Autopia, you're like, oh, I've done that. I don't need to do this again for a number of years, man. Right. All that to say, Autopia is weird. Anyway, all right, Jeremy.
That was a long way around.
I know, man, but that's me. All right, we're gonna get out of here, Jeremy. That's it. What do you want to say? SpectraRadio.us.
Visit SpectraRadio.us. Come listen. I've been putting some new tracks up lately.
I love it. You're going to be joining us on Ears Up soon, right? In a couple months, in October, next month.
In October, I'm going to be on with a new Spectro Time segment. It's been a long time coming. It's not going to be a big one. It's not going to be a long one, but
Okay, that's all right.
It's going to be all right.
I'm all right with it. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks for hanging. It's a good time talking, everybody. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to support the show, please do that at patreon.com/earsup. I just released something cool, a cool interview for the $12 and up tiers. It's cool people doing cool things. I made a nice logo for it. It looks great. So if you're at the $12 level, Be sure to.
You made a logo?
I made a logo. I gotta send it to you, brother. It's the best thing ever. Anyway, check it out, please. And yeah. Otherwise, I love you all, and I wish you nothing but success and love in your futures. I don't know, man. Whatever. I'm gonna get out of here. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot, Jeremy. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. We're done recording, Jeremy, but we're still live, so...
Oh, we're still live?
I don't know. I gotta go, and...
You gotta put the kid to bed. I know the routine.
Yeah. I gotta do that. So here, let's end live. We'll give just everybody a little bit of taste. Goodbye, everybody. I got my Modelo, my second Modelo, and my second whiskey.
Oh, I finished my scotch a while ago.
Well, see, what you gotta do is be professional and bring the bottle in with you. And then that way, you can just refill it.
Is that a little bottle, or do you have big hands?
Both. It's both. Look at this. It is a little bottle. It's like what is it? I don't know.
It is. It's a little. It's like a half-sized.
Yeah, it's like a 375 mil, I think, or something like that.
What am I, Canadian? I don't know what that means.
Well, look, brother.
I guess I do. It's right in front of me.
Yeah, get out of here. Or 325, because I think normal whiskey bottles are like 750. I think, yeah. So yes, it's a half. But the artwork's cool. Anyway, 7 Stills. They make good whiskey. But if they make beer too. But on the beer side, they'll steal your IP, man.
Well, I don't know if what is this? They stole your IP or something?
No, but they did like a beer series with like the PayPal logo, and there's a whole movement in the beer scene to like steal the biggest logo you can, so you can get the cease and desist letter, and then you publicize that on Instagram and go, oh, we got a cease and desist letter from PayPal, but it's only a one-off, so it's fine. And it's like craft beer kind of sucks.
Like, we see through this, you idiots. Shut up.
But they make a lot of money.
That's enough for me to drop a like right there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good thing I don't really.
I don't want to feel like I've been played.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I want honest marketing. I don't want to feel like
Me
I'm
too.
being duped.
And so literally making a living doing marketing, this is why I'm so bad at it. Because I market the way that I feel, which I don't want that kind of shit. Which is probably why Covier's never really fucking made it, which is probably why Ears Up never fucking makes it. Because it's I wanna yeah, I don't fucking care, whatever.
I'm just kidding.
It's like
because you haven't marketed Ears Up.
Well, I have, but it's like very lightly because I don't like marketing in general. And in order for me to market the shows the way that other people market their shows, it would be a lot of buzzword and clickbait and all this kind of fucking shit. And I hate that. I hate it so much. It offends me personally. So I market the way that I want to, which is with humor or just, hey, we have a new show. Come check it out if you want to. But that's not the way to make money. And that's why I'm poor.
Right. Well, that's the thing like that offends us.
Yeah.
Real people.
Right.
But it works. I mean, you see these people with it like.
I know.
And as much negative feedback as they get, it doesn't matter. Although you got to wonder, like, how many real fans does Mice Chatter Inside the Magic really have? They have a lot of clicks.
Well, I don't know, man.
Does anyone give a shit?
The only way that I can judge it is off our Patreon, and we've been pretty steady with our Patreon. We've dropped a lot, we've come back, and whatever. It's ebbs and flows like everything does. And look, anything that we get during this shutdown time is amazing, and I feel very privileged to be able to say that. But like, I see some of these other Disney sites that like make more money, and it's like, why? They suck. We're so much better. And it hurts me. And then I go, well, why am I doing this? What am I doing this? And then I go, well, because it's not about money, but it also is because I want to afford new equipment, but I can't. Right. And it sucks, and I hate it so much. So anyway, that's part of the reason why I'm going to start streaming my video games. I don't know. This is all way too private information. I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but this is my life. It's real, and this is all I know is how to talk about what's going on in my life. That's the only thing I know how to do. I can barely raise my child. I can barely talk to my wife, but what I can do is jabber on the internet about my life. That's what I can do, and hopefully it's interesting. I don't know, man. I have a lot of communication issues. Thank you.
Well, you're a good communicator.
Thanks,
I
man.
think.
Am I? Because you and Bev are the only two people that have ever responded to my email.
What email?
The email about the shows, and like we have to do a show meeting and whatever. And like Bev's the only one who. Anyway, whatever. I'm just kidding. I gotta go.
Oh, yeah, I didn't respond, but that's tough. This is the thing. Like that's so far out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what my life. I mean, like, I don't know what my life is in 2 months. You know, like it's so hard to. I mean, right now I'm free, but
Yeah.
So I guess I could put something down.
You're fine.
I'm packing up. I'm driving to Florida on the 26th, and
You're
I'm not coming back here
driving?
for 3 weeks.
Oh my God! Look,
Because I bought this place.
I gotta go. I want to talk to you though.
Yeah, goodbye.
Let me end the stream. Bye, guys. Thank you
We're
very
still
much.
on? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.